Hey everyone, how you doing today? Well, I did it. I finally finished this ship. 100% complete, I believe, at this point. I've done some more tweaks and some deco things and a whole bunch of LCD work and sensors and lighting and switches and just about everything under the sun on it. So, I thought I'd just give you kind of a preview of what the ship finally came out to be. Um, Next part is going to be taking a whole bunch of screenshots and building a Steam post for it, a workshop post, and a lot of pictures to take. So I'll be working on that for a while. I'm thinking I want to get this released tomorrow, so it's coming. It's getting pretty close right now. So I'll take a look at the overall body on this right now, and we'll take a walk through the interior to see what it finally looks like with all 5 decks that are on this thing. And I think it's easier to navigate now inside with all the signage and things that are going on. So anyway, let's start somewhere in the ship. I think I'll go all the way over to the front end of the ship here, and we'll hop in here a minute, take a walk around. So in regular daylight, looks pretty normal. I'm gonna go to nighttime though because I do a lot of work with lighting to try to tweak everything out to make it look pretty good at night. And some areas are brighter and some areas are not as bright. It all depends what's going on. So here's a new elevator sign format. I changed it from what I had before, and I actually had to use Notepad++ to edit these things and get them like set up for each room, because with all the color codes and font size codes and things like that, it gets really screwy. So I started using them inside the game, and then I would copy that out to Notepad++, which is free download on the internet, and then started editing the signs until I got everything right. Then I had to copy it back from there, paste it back into the game, and keep on tweaking it until I got it right. But once you get a format down, it's pretty easy to update that. So I'm going to get out of God mode here and we'll take a walk. So I'm going to avoid the elevator right now and we'll just stay on floor 1. So what I've done, on each floor there's a lot of like floor indicator numbers on where you are, because it's a complicated layout in the ship and it's pretty rough to navigate in some places. Well, it's not rough after you get to know it, but it's there's a lot of ways around the ship. To start with, there's a couple just engineering fuel areas on the side here of the hangar. These are symmetrical on both sides. Not all the ship is symmetrical. There's a lot of asymmetrical areas in the ship. So when you come down here on deck 1, you'll find like a storage room over to the side, O2 machine, a storage room. Hopefully it looks like a storage room, because that's what it was intended to be. I didn't just put cargo crates in here, but did I lose power? Oh, I might have a sensor off over here. It seems like I'm losing my sensor when I go a little too far that way, so I might have to tweak that yet. So over on this side over here, you have a recovery room. Now, I was debating whether or not to call this a training room, but I added a training room somewhere else now and left this one pretty much stock. So as you kind of come through here, you have obviously another elevator which will get you to the front areas of the ship again. So let's go out this side here. So this is still symmetrical over here on this part of the ship. So on your central elevator, you're on deck 1, and obviously you're close to the front exit, which is right over there. And you'll notice that most of these rooms have signs somewhere. They're not all consistent. Let's take a walk up over here. So we got docking bay 1. Now docking bay 1 on this side of the ship and docking bay 3 on the other side of the ship are more of the crew docking bays. Now there's docking bays 3, 4 in the rear hangar, and then 2 landing pads as well on the ship. So the lower docking bays look like this, and they're also symmetrical. So once you get out of there, you get into this break room area, and then you have a basically again down to level 1, and then it goes up to level 2. Different floors are color coded now. Now the main floor is most of your ship function. So it'd be where players would probably hang out most of the time at. This includes the farm section. The farm section is pretty massive, 108 grow plots. It's got switches for each one of these grow plot setups. Now I left one on by default just so you know where they are, but I figured I'd leave the other ones off. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory how to turn these things on. If you look for the switches, they're on the 4 corners. So you can turn on each one of these sections individually. So over here in the back of the ship, you can go through to the hangar. A hangar, I think I've showed this before, but basically you've got 360K storage bays over on one side, plus a 56K ammo bay, a bunch of cargo boxes all over the place. And then on the other side, you have your advanced constructors and 2 320K storage bins, plus all your other stuff, medical, health, cooking, armor repair, armor locker. And then over there you got a repair bay, and then your repair console, repair bay. Pentaxid tank is located in the center between these two, kind of away so you won't get any heat or radiation. And that's pretty much it down in the hangar area. It's got visible rooms throughout looking upward. But let's get to the next floor here. So I'm going to go up one floor from the back, I guess. We'll go up to floor 2. See if I have this labeled correctly. Now floor 2 jumps all the way up over to here. There's 2 ways out of floor 2. And this would be your emergency room area. Now these link also to the lower hangar bays, but you can go out a different exit. Again, I've been putting these numbers all over the place indicating what your floor you're on, and then there's usually going to be some kind of directory telling you where these elevators go on each one of the floors. There's a lot of space in these areas here. And I misspoke too. These connect to the upper landing pads, so 3 and 4, not 1 and 2. So this is what these upper ones look like here, and basically indicated that you have an emergency room there. I was debating whether or not to put a separate sign over here. That's kind of the emergency room over here, but it's more of an emissions area. And then that goes out into this area over here, which has all your actual gameplay, medical function. Plus you have like O2 and an actual med bay up front over here. And then this would also go through to the other hangar bay 4, which also has a bunch of stuff in there. So traveling through this floor, now deck 2 over here isn't too terribly big. Let's go up here to this area. Now this goes to the bridge, training room, and crew areas. So the training room is over here, and this would be basically a training room. Now all these rooms you can access from elevators as well. A lot of the ship you can navigate without using elevators though, because there's these little like floor up and downs in places. So over here you got another elevator, and then you get into the officers' quarters. Officers' quarters has a little lobby over here, and then there's 3 different officer rooms. And they basically have all your standard stuff in them. They're not super big. There's one room that is, excuse me, bigger than the other ones, and that would probably be for the captain. These are not that room yet. So this would be the captain's room. This has a couch and some information displays, and of course your bathrooms and showers and kitchen table and kitchen, all that kind of fun stuff. So going across the hall on this floor, going over to, There isn't one that actually just has like regular crew quarters signed. So this one says pilot's quarters, which I guess is sort of appropriate. And that kind of gets through this little like area here for eating and whatnot, and gets into this pretty plush area of a lot of bunk beds for the different crew members here. And then of course they got a kitchen, bathroom, showers, and some other trimmings in there. So as we go up the hallway here, then we'll go up to the next area. This is kind of like a lobby to the bridge. Also has elevator access. I'm missing a sign here, and I just cannot seem to fit an LCD anywhere in this room. I mean, I can't put it on the ceiling, the walls, the floors. I mean, nothing works. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So coming up to the bridge here, we have obviously pilot and co-pilot seats, a little bit of stuff, but mainly your switches. So you have your defense system, which this will turn on all the turrets and sentry guns on the ship. Then on the other side over here you have thruster power, heavy lift mode, and your exterior lights buttons. So actually let me keep this off, probably by default. So going up to the next floor, or deck 4, notice how I've avoided elevators so far. This gets into, let's see, research and development floor. So on this, basically you got your bridge access over there, you got some more storage rooms off to the side over here. This basically has some extra fuel and cargo boxes, and nothing really of any particular interest in these rooms. Over here you have your CAT scanning room through the window here, and that gets into this section, which is kind of like a laboratory. It's got some places to chill out up on the balcony over here and get some window views. And then this weird shower clean room back over here. Not sure, but it's there. Across the hall you have just a laboratory. Do a little R&D stuff over here. Of course you have some elevator access here as well. And now this whole floor is asymmetrical, so nothing really lines up from one side to the other. And this goes down into the other part of level 3, which is down over here. This overlooks a more of kind of a quarantine area, but it's like a whole bunch of people. It's open air, but it's sealed from the outside. To actually get into that room, you can access it from the biohazard area in the back, or you can just take a quick elevator jaunt into the lobby of this area. And this has a bunch of overlooks, so you got the side hallways, plus it overlooks the admissions area. So now, going into the next section here, we can walk right through here, and this gets into the more infectious disease area and a bio laboratory. Now this connects to the back large landing pad. Would be basically for getting patients into these quarantine zones, or high-level quarantine zones. There's other quarantine zones in the ship. And that would be through these doors here, getting into all of this fun stuff, which has a whole bunch of self-isolated rooms. Looks something like this. Some have window access. That would also connect back down into this other hallway that heads back into the research and development area. Now going down back to the lobby in this room, we will get to the lower section, which is basically your lab area. That gets into these a little bit more or differently lit hallways, and they basically has some high-level infectious rooms in these different areas. Has a rear cockpit allowing you to fly the ship in the other direction. in case you needed to evac quickly or just wanted to back up. And then a large lab in the center here. And yeah, so basically some more labs and things like that in here. So let's see, let's get back out to the main corridor here. Let's see, what other sections of the ship should we show you here? Well, you know, I think I missed something on the floor down from here. Let me go down to, no, not 3. Let's go back down to 2. No, didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, on 2, this is another section of the ship. This is, what did I call this? Oh, there's my sign. This is emergency care area. Now this has some, I don't know, some kind of surgery rooms, I would say. So you've got a couple rooms over there, and then you've got this one, I'm calling it a gamma scanner. Don't ask, it's just a little sci-fi there, I guess. Some future technology that we don't understand right now. So that's in there. Now this, you can also take a manual walk up to the engineering section of the ship. That kind of heads in through here. There's a couple bathrooms, but then you get into the main engineering area with all the goodies of the ship. So Wi-Fi, warp core, shield. Oh, the shield's down over there. Been a little while since I did this room. Okay, gravity generator on the front. Extra fuel tanks. It's got 5 regular generators. There's 3 up front here and 2 more on the side. And then your shield's right down over here. Obviously the warp core is right there. Now everything in this ship is designed so you can't get close enough to get any heat or radiation anywhere you go in the ship. And that's just standard throughout. So there is no hot zones. I guess if you jump the guardrails you could fry yourself, but that's up to you. Even the gravity generators I'm keeping you far away from. So there is that. So here, let's go up to, let's see, we've been to 4 already. Yeah, 4 is the bridge area. Let's go up to 5. 5 is another section of the ship. This is kind of another quarantine area where you have individual patient rooms, a whole bunch of them. Going up and down these hallways here. This kind of comes out to a lobby area, and then of course you got your elevator access to either side over here. Again, I had to squeeze in directory signs in the sides over there, and a couple little like waiting areas, things like that. This goes out to the mid landing pad of the ship, which is over here. Trying to think right now if I missed any areas of the ship. Seems like I missed a floor here somewhere. I think I did. Let me hop back down in the ship here. And this area here, coming in from these top landing pads, it kind of goes throughout this room here, and then there's another back room. This is where there's 2 more gravity generators in the back area of the ship, 1 on each side over here. And then there's another room over here which overlooks the hangar area. And I think that's about it on the ship. Now to take a look at what a lot of this looks like in daylight, it is definitely a lot brighter. I've been trying to go with a pretty high intensity or pretty white and a lot of neutral colors, trying to emulate more of a hospital. It's usually I go for more bolder colors than these, but this is just it's a difference because it's a hospital ship. And yeah, so you get kind of an idea on what this looks like. I think I got to tweak out a couple sensors on a lower floor yet, but I think that's about it. And say this is about 100% done. I think this interior by far took me the longest to do out of any of the ships I've done to date. Size class wise, it's size class 19. However, it is quite a bit cheaper than the Krill War Carrier due to the hull is built with steel and carbon substrate interior. It doesn't have as much weapons. It has smaller thrusters and less of them. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's just a sprawling ship here. Let me turn on the defenses here, show you what that looks like from the outside. I added some more turrets to the ship. It's got some flak turrets now as well, and a couple miniguns, just to split it up. But I added these front turrets here. So basically you have 8 turrets across the top of the ship, which are kind of like your 360 perimeter. And then you have a couple more front turrets aiming forward. You have another turret on the bottom. And then you also have sentry guns on the front that will come out also with the defense system. And on the very back, there's a couple more sentry guns out in the corners here to protect the back door. And a couple more turrets on the top section here. I'm seeing a color mismatch right now. Oh my god, I better fix that. Little stuff like that makes all the difference. There. Alright, so remind me to save that again. And let me just make sure that these guys are on the defense circuit, because I'm not sure if they are. Yes, they are. Okay, good. So quite a lot of turrets and other things too, but they're all retractable. So when they're closed down, you have no aggressive look at all to the ship. Even had to put in a radar just because maybe someday it'll do something. If not, you could easily replace that with another turret. Or if you really wanted to go crazy, you could probably even throw an artillery there. But that is it. And now it's on to the next phase, which is a whole lot of screenshots and building a post and trying to explain this whole thing on what it's for and why and all the things of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back either tomorrow or the next day for another video, and I'm going to be changing tunes a little bit and getting back into some Creel for a bit. And speaking of that, head south a bit. And there's something else here too. I started some other little Creel base. Obviously I've got some other Creel buildings over here, and a lot of this has to do with the Creel faction being added to the game. There's this little bugger base right now, which is actually almost done. It is a cheap starter base for a player. I've got a dilemma with it, and I haven't got a farm in here yet, but typical Creel fashion looking base. Kind of walk in here, you've got your core in the middle, got a couple constructors, armor locker, your food and cooking, O2, med, a couple storage boxes. It doesn't have any regular storage in it right now. I was thinking about adding it though. I could blow away the floor and replace a lot of that with cargo extensions, but I can't texture them correctly, unfortunately. And then it's got a little upstairs, which is not actually finished yet. I really wanted to get some farm action going on, but I'm having dilemmas with how to squeeze in the grow plots without screwing up the bottom of the other floor, which I might have to bite the bullet to get that done and chop away this stuff here. But yeah, that's just something. It's just a real small, quick build, quite frankly. Unusual designed building again, but it's Creel. Quite a few turrets on it, but the great thing about this one, it being built with concrete at primary, it's got a really quick build time at 33 minutes, so it's just something small. And that's why I'm not even sure if I want to add in a big storage system in it, or even a farm at that. No, this is just something to give you a safe spot. No hangar or anything like that, but defended against, attacks you'd get, early game at least. Well, anyway, you all have yourself a good day. Stay safe as regular, and I will try to get that ship released hopefully tomorrow after a whole lot of picture taking and things. So, see you later.